All right, everyone, welcome to After the Scales, episode 82. I am Shaun Blight, along with Jacob Dove, as always, presented by DJD Graphics. And today we're doing a little World Finals recap, big weekend in the world of dirt racing. And later on, we're going to be joined by Ashton Torgerson, who's going to talk about his big announcement over the weekend, where he is going to be racing with the World of Outlaws in 2026. We'll also look at his plans for the Chili Bowl, the Tulsa Shootout, and anything else he's got going on in his world. So, Jacob, you weren't there, unfortunately, in Charlotte like you were a year ago, but I know you were tuning in. What caught your eye?
Man, there was a lot. Obviously, it sucked that I wasn't there like last year with you. It was a great time, but I wanted to be there. But unfortunately, I got a cold early on in the week. So, yeah, I was tuned in though, and there was a lot to take away from the weekend. There wasn't much of a points battle, like we said, there wasn't going to be. So, kind of bummed there, but there was still great racing. Comes to mind, obviously, to start out with the sprint cars, battles between David Gravel and Rico Aber, the two champions of the two sprint car series. Buddy Kofoid did great this year. He got the final win on Saturday night. Really good win by Hudson O'Neill, stole from B-Ship on the first night. And then Big Block Modifieds. There was some good racing there as well. I know our guy Matt Williamson, Alex Payne, the After the Scales guy did really well with Matt Williamson getting the championship. Scary crash there with Tyler Siri. We're going to comment more about that, but that's mostly what I took away from the weekend.
Yeah, it was Friday night was Alex Payne dominated on Friday night. But it was really cool, like talking to a lot of the photographers who cover the big blocks more than I do. They get their fill of Matt Shepard and Matt Williamson victory lane photos. And this was far and away the biggest win in Alex Payne's career. And this is the third win of the year for him, which is obviously a career high. He got his first win last year. So he finished ahead of Matt Shepard in points. He finished third, right behind Alex Yankowski. So you're starting to see the young guys kind of creep in there with the Matt and Matts, which is pretty exciting. And it was really cool. I was shooting for Alex over the weekend. Got to know his crew guys, his got to chat with his mom quite a bit. So really cool when you can be a part of something like that. I know I'm not a part of the team, but when you can help document a big moment like that in a young driver's career, it's really rewarding. And you mentioned the Hudson O'Neill race. I didn't even know what happened. I was just like Ruben Morales. Apparently, I can't hear the broadcast, but he was getting a lot of flack for that. Because I was busy watching our buddy Mike Leach finish eighth and watching him battle with Davenport and RTJ and those guys. So that was really cool. But yeah, like I think that was the best race of the weekend for me. And I'm a sprint car guy and a big block guy. So that says something. I just from the battle for the win to the battles from third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all through 10th. There was some really great racing in that late model race. So hats off to those guys because they put on a really, really good show. And then they went caution free the next night on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of positives and negatives, and obviously a lot of the negatives make a lot of noise coming out of the weekend. It is a shame that sprint cars were getting flack for not getting the racing going. I think lap 8 they had to open red there, and people were complaining about them going to be running out of fuel and all that. But I mean, I did hear some late model guys that were there say that they were really excited to see all those crew guys running and trampling over tires to get to the cars, the fuel.
And then to back my sprint car guys, the very next day, the late models couldn't get their heat races in. So, I mean, Mike Leach and I were talking about this in the pits, and I said, it was night one of Charlotte, and the guys were making fun of the sprint car guys. And I'm like, I've been into enough races that don't make fun of another class's performance until the weekend is over, because you're going to have your turn. Like, we've all seen late models stink up the show, sprint cars stink up the show. It happens. So I thought that was pretty funny. I sent Gordy Gundaker a message. I didn't get a response, but yeah, the very next day, it took them 45 minutes to run their first heat race. So yeah, there was radio silence on that one.
Yeah, definitely. And if anybody get that reference, Gordy put out a tweet saying that the support class, meaning the sprint cars, were having a hard time. And well, if you go back to our Gordy episode on After the Scales, we asked him, "Hey, Gordy, what would you like to try? A race car that you haven't gotten behind the wheel yet?" And he said a sprint car. So Come on, Gory, don't be double standards here. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was great racing. But yeah, it's just a shame that a lot of people had a lot of negative things to say with the late models. You know, we had a credible finish, but it was almost like a NASCAR moment, right? If anybody watched that final Phoenix race for the championship, they were so worried about the championship guys that they didn't even focus. Like, I didn't even know who won the race. I didn't realize that Riley Blaney got it over Brad Keselowski. And they only showed, Kyle Larson winning the championship and Denny Hamlin lost. So, Ruben was kind of getting the chicken before the egg, and kind of announced that Bobby Pierce was winning the championship, and then realized that Hudson Neal stole it from Bishop on the last lap. So it's whatever. But scary crash with Tyler Seary in the big block modified. I know a lot of people were talking about it online. And I know a lot of people were disappointed that, Dirt Vision really wasn't giving us updates. They didn't show any replay out of respect. So I respect that. But we wouldn't know if he was okay. And I was getting more updates from you. So just kind of talk about from what you saw.
Well, I didn't really see anything. Like I said, I was shooting for Alex Payne, so I was kind of focused on that. I just kind of heard the crash behind me, and our buddy Tyler Murray, Max McLaughlin's longtime crew guy, was racing. He was involved in that wreck too, and we weren't getting any updates either. We could just it was. I mean, it's definitely silent. You're at a racetrack and you see something like that, and the crowd just goes definitely silent. You can just hear family members across the track screaming and hoping that their driver's okay. Um, and I get it on the broadcast too. Like I would kind of want to defend those guys because we saw it with the Stuart Friesen accident too earlier this year. Like they don't want to speculate. They don't want to say anything wrong. They don't want to pass on any wrong information. It's a fine line to walk because they're not getting any information either. So um, that it's tough to go just dark on a broadcast and not say anything, but those guys are in a tight spot. So I get where they're coming from.
Yeah, definitely. And, overall, we saw storylines coming out of it. But, like we said, Bobby Pierce won the late model championship. David Gravel goes back to back. Matt Williamson goes back to back. Kind of raises the question for 2026. Some of these guys, especially with late models and sprint cars, what series they're going to be going towards next year. I know you got to hang out with our buddy Mikey, and I'm really proud of him. I wanted to give him a shout out, getting the 8th place, his best finish ever. And I think that was the most media attention I've ever seen in one weekend. So
Yeah.
definitely shout out to him. But, guys like that, who busted their butt all year long and want to go on a national tour maybe next year, we might see more guys in sprint cars that were pick and choose, might go Heilman or Outlaws. So what are some things that you're hearing? I know there's a lot of silly season stuff that's been going on, but obviously Torgerson checks that list as far as going to the Outlaws next year.
Yeah, and we heard that going into the weekend, it was kind of an open secret that Hunter Schoenberg was going to be out of the Vermeer car and Kerry Madsen was going in. I don't think they've announced what tour they're running. They were on the Outlaws tour. There's a lot of teams that are kind of waiting, I think, to see what the Outlaws are going to announce as far as points payouts. So that's kind of holding things up a little bit. From what I gather in the pits, it doesn't sound like anyone is dropping off the high limit tour in 2026. Um, I'm not sure the same can be said for the Outlaws. I mean, they did gain Ashton Torgerson, but I think there are some teams kind of at the bottom that are looking at maybe dropping off. But we'll see. There's nothing official. I do expect an announcement with Sheldon Haudenschild to be announced very soon. It sounds like that deal is wrapped up. I don't want to comment because that's not us for us to announce. But I do see that his deal is kind of ready to be announced. And there was a lot of speculation about Emerson Axum in the 27, possibly going to run the Outlaws next year. It would make sense because if Ashton Torgerson is the only rookie running that tour, he's that's going to be a nice payout for Shark Racing. So I would expect at least one team or at least one driver to run Outlaws that hasn't run it before to try to go after that Rookie of the Year bonus.
Yeah, definitely a lot of speculation. I know as far as the Emerson Axum stuff goes that he's looking for a crew chief. So I think once they lock that up, then he'll probably go out on a national tour, like you mentioned, the Outlaws. I know some guys that were, running the All-Stars or pick and choose, like Ayrton Jennington. He's been hinting at maybe stepping up. He kind of was intrigued about the high limit. schedule for next year. So yeah, it really depends, like you said, about the Outlaws schedule. I know a lot of talk right now is about the Outlaws leaving out California, but it sounds like they're going to be going back to California for sure. They just haven't confirmed it yet. So a lot of people were freaking out because obviously some of the best drivers in the country and in the world have come from California. They have some great tracks over there, so it does look like they're going to get that on the schedule. So, but yeah, once we get that out of the way, then the parts and pieces will fall into place. Like you said about Sheldon, I think that's a done deal. Just waiting on whenever it's going to come out. I'm excited for a lot of the guys that are returning. Even like our buddy Danny Sams, he had a tough year being a rookie with the Highland, but I think that win at Bridgeport really boosted the spirits up, and I know a lot of people are hoping he returns to the high limit, or if he goes over to the Outlaws. Guys like that are towards the bottom of the points, but are still wanting to come back. It doesn't matter that they're getting their ass kicked every night, right? They're still learning. They still have to get laps and seat time. So definitely excited for that.
Yeah, we've seen some growth with some of the teams that kind of struggled at the start. We wanted to bring up and give a shout out to our buddy Cy Lynch, who had two quick times over the weekend, and they've been really, really fast. Basically, kind of since the West Coast, maybe even a little bit before that. He was really quick at Four Crown with qualifying. They've definitely got their qualifying setups fixed. That was kind of hurting them at the start of the year. Some blown motors, and then Cy missed that race out west too. So I think like if they can continue that momentum that they had the last maybe 2 months of the year, they're going to turn some heads next year and maybe win a race or two because they were really, really locked in speed wise. And Chase Randall too, like he was one of the best cars all weekend at Charlotte, and it's kind of what we expected all year from Chase is to be quick on those kind of half-mile tracks because he can really fly, he can really floor it in those on those tracks where you're a gasser, and he showed it at Charlotte, and Danny did too. He was fourth and sixth in time trials, and then he got kind of I'll say wrecked. He got dumped the second night, and just sounds like during the open red they made a bad adjustment. He was running sixth or seventh on Friday night, and then they just kind of went backwards after that open red. So that was unfortunate, but man, like the high limit guys, they're looking locked in. They're a bunch of the guys that kind of were on the bottom of the totem pole. You can even throw Brenham Crouch into that because he was really good the last month or two of the season too.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And as far as the dirt late models go, not much surprises over there. Jonathan Davenport got both Friday and Saturday night win. Hudson O'Neill obviously stole it from Bishop on the first night, but those guys were up front every single night. And well, some guys that unfortunately didn't have a very good Charlotte World Finals was the Lucas Dirt champion, and it sucks because I know you got to stop by and see Devin Moran, get a nice picture that you took
Yeah.
signed by him, but he didn't make any of the nights, which was kind of a shocker, as well as Josh Rice, who's now in the JR ride, Dalton Wilson's old ride. So kind of a surprise there. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, 72, I think late models showed up. And you and Bert follow the late models and have for a lot longer than I have. And the one thing I'll say about the late models, you've got basically the top four, I would say, that kind of dominate and get most of the wins. But the depth of field beyond that, like that kind of once you get past, RTJ, Davenport, Bobby Pierce, Devin Moran, you can throw him in there, maybe Nick Hoffman. Once you get past that group, it's so competitive. And if you mess a little bit in, or you miss a little bit in qualifying, you're screwed because like there's no real, for lack of a better term, bottom feeders in those ranks. There are not many of them. And if you're in those B mains, those last chance showdowns, you are in tough if you're not on the front row because there's some big names going home every night. Um, so there's a lot of intrigue when you get those heat races out for the late models because it's you see big names at the back, and if Devin Moran just he struggled from the get go, and you have a bad night Wednesday night in Charlotte, and you're in tough the rest of the week.
Yeah, we even seen RTJ have some
Yeah,
struggles there mechanically. I know they had problems, and Jimmy Owens blew an engine really getting ready for the feature. So luckily they fixed RTJ's ride and threw Jimmy in, and then they put him out there. And then he pulled off. So anybody was like, "Oh, RTJ's out there." That was actually Jimmy Owens.
Yeah,
So
I had no
it was,
idea. I
yeah,
couldn't hear anything, so I had no clue.
yeah. So there's a lot of craziness. Obviously, these guys are down on equipment at the end of the year, right? You know, they've already ran 80, 90, almost 100 races, some of those guys. So these guys have been beating and banging their sheet metal, their engines, the tires, and, you know, they were just trying to get through it. So definitely looking forward to this weekend, though, with the Peach State Classic at Sonoya. I'll be there. If anybody needs some social media presence out there, I'm the guy to hit up. And I know Shaun was busy shooting this past weekend, and you got to make your first Millbridge debut. So let's
Oh,
circle back on that
yeah.
because that was pretty cool. Extreme Outlaw Midget Championship on Monday and Tuesday. Jacob Denny ends up getting it. Talk about that.
Yeah, it was one of those tracks where you don't think you're ever going to get because they run on middle of the week in North Carolina, and luckily with my schedule the way it was, and they moved that Extreme Midget World Championship to the Monday Tuesday before World Finals. I was able to go, and for anyone who's never been there, it's so unique. Like there's no general admission seating or parking. You drive into the pits to park your car. So I'm coming in the main gate and I'm driving by all the Keith Kunz Motorsports cars, and you're waving at the drivers as you're going to park. And the place was absolutely packed. I was only there for the Tuesday night, but it was just a who's who walking around of all the drivers that were racing at Charlotte for the World Finals, wanted to come and check it out too. Um, Such a cool track to see these kids. I mean, the kids in the micros absolutely blew my mind. The moves that they're pulling off. We saw Ryan Newman's daughter out there throwing nasty sliders on Skylar G, and Hunter Schoenberg was making fun of him, I guess, after Monday because she beat him. And on Wednesday at Charlotte, Hunter Schoenberg came up to Skylar and said, "Hey, Skylar, don't worry. There's no 12-year-old girls here to beat you." So that was pretty funny. But yeah, Skyler said, he had to drive a little differently because he didn't want to be the guy that gets on Dirt Vision and goes viral on the internet for throwing a 14-year-old up into the stands or something with a nasty slider. So shout out to our buddy Skyler G that was running the micros. He did a great job.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because it was pretty cool that you got to see a lot of guys you normally don't get to see run micros and midgets show up for that week. Obviously, RTJ was running there too, and we saw Skylar G run the micro, and some guys, even late model guys. Brock Pinkerus was out there,
Yeah, that's right.
and you saw Nick Hoffman in the midget, and a guy like Sheldon who never runs the midget
Yeah.
even showed up and ran that. So it had to be cool seeing some guys that you normally don't see out there.
Yeah, it's the for me, I don't follow the midgets that closely, and USAC has a lot of the bigger names. Um, but yeah, they had a great field of cars. Ty Gibbs was another guy who showed up in a midget, and I think the only time he's run that was Chili Bowl earlier this year. So that was really cool. The guy flies from Arizona from the last Cup race, lands in Charlotte, goes to Millbridge for Monday, Tuesday, and then runs a 410 sprint car Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So what a week for that guy. But yeah, it was great racing, and unfortunately, there was a lot of flips on a very small track. You're going to expect a lot of that, and but yeah, what a cool experience! I can't wait to get back there. I got a sticker from Millbridge to put on my cooler to say that I went, so that was a pretty cool deal.
And I have to mention because we are on episode 82, share with our viewers on how many races that you actually got to
Oh,
go to.
yeah. 82. That's right. Yeah. 80. My goal was 80, but with weather, I didn't think that I'd actually get to 80. But this summer was very dry up here in the Northeast, so not many rainouts this year. So 82 was my final tally. And that doesn't, I'm not counting Wednesday at Charlotte, which was just qualifying. So I don't count that. It has to actually be an A main ran. Um, so I'm not counting, rainouts where they don't get a show in or anything like that. I'm not cheating. So 82 actual races. So I don't know. Can I get to 100 next year? Like our buddy Felix Waugh, he ran 100 races last year. So maybe I just have to, drive up to Quebec more often to see him run to get the century mark. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot like being a full time driver
Yeah.
yourself. Right? I went to a lot of races, but not even close, not even half of what you did. But
Yeah.
I am definitely excited for Sonoya this weekend, and then the late models go over to Cherokee for the Freddie Smith Memorial. The season's winding down now. Really, there's only a couple late model stuff. Obviously, we got the Dome, which is one of the biggest races of the year, and then next thing you know, we start out 2026 with the Wild West Shootout and the Chili Bowl and the Tulsa Shootout. Obviously, that's got to be a big circle on our checklist, right? But what are some of the races that you're looking forward to next year? Ones that you are looking forward to the most?
Well, there's a couple of new tracks that I've really put on my bucket list that I decided I got to check out. The Winchester High Banks. That one, they run the USAC Silver Crown cars on the Sunday after Let's Race 2 at Eldora in May. So our buddy Hunter that's come on here and co-hosted a couple of times, he wants to go to Winchester too. So really going to hope to do that. And I'm going to hope to get to the Knoxville Nationals this year. I've never done that. And whenever I say that to anybody in the sprint car world, they say immediately that you have to go, and that once you go once, you'll go every year. So I'm interested to see how that compares with Kings Royal, because I absolutely love Kings Royal. So those are two that I've kind of got circled. Obviously, we're doing Volusia in February. Going to check out probably New Smyrna for one or two dates. So that's going to be really, really cool. A couple of tracks that I've really wanted to get to. So some exciting things on my calendar in 2026, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely. And unfortunately, I wasn't approved for the Gateway Dirt National, so that doesn't look like on my cars this year. But now the focus is on the other indoor race, right? The Chili Bowl. I've always wanted to go. You went last year. Seems like you got the Charlotte dust flu. Uh,
Yeah,
so 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 I don't know. Maybe you got your Chili Bowl flu out of the way, but
it's still gonna
uh,
happen.
if I do go, that's one thing I gotta look forward to. But yeah, that's the biggest thing is trying to get to Tulsa because I mean that's just one race where you just have to go to. It doesn't matter where it's IndyCar, F1, NASCAR. You got guys from all over the country coming there, right? I mean, we've seen T Mac, a late model driver, win the Chili Bowl. Santino Ferrucci as an IndyCar driver, he shows up and race. We see NASCAR guys race it. So it's just one place where you can just focus on the whole sport in one building.
Yeah, no, it's a really, really cool experience. Um, we'll have some more news regarding a couple of the drivers that we're going to be sponsoring at the Chili Bowl, which is really cool. Wout Hoffmans, our buddy from the Netherlands, who's coming over to race the Chili Bowl again. We're going to be represented on the side of his car. And Jacob Dykstra from Canada, who is going down for the second year in a row. We're going to be on his car as well. And we might have a couple other drivers that we'll be sponsoring and helping out that week with some media content. So can't wait. We got a lot. We're not going anywhere. We're still coming back with shows. Just saying goodbye to racing after. Well, I'm done. I'm done for 2025. You luckily have a weekend ahead, but yeah, we are saying goodbye to the 2025 racing season.
Yeah, definitely. 2025 was one for the books for sure. I think 2026 is going to be special, especially with the sport of grassroots racing growing, right? And that's the whole reason why we do this to give these guys a chance to hear their stories, hear how they got in the sport and what their future goals are. So definitely look forward to hearing from Ashton coming up right after this message. But yeah, thank you guys for always tuning in.
After the Scales is proudly presented by DJD Graphics. From commercial and personal vehicles to racing bikes and cars of all makes, models, and disciplines, DJD Graphics can fully customize your vehicle to suit your needs. For more information, contact Darren and visit his website at www.djdgraphics.com. Tell him Shaun and Jacob sent you to receive special rates.
And welcome back. We are with World of Outlaws driver Ashton Torgerson. Buddy, how does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds pretty sweet to me. I mean, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so the news broke at World Finals, and I was busting your balls a little bit because I was talking to you and your brother the day before, and you were claiming that you had no idea what the plans were. I wake up in the morning and there's a notification that you're running World of Outlaws. So, A, were you just hiding stuff from me? And B, when did you actually find out?
No, I wasn't actually. I had nothing. I actually had no idea. And it's funny because you woke up and saw the news, and I woke up, that same morning. I had no idea, and then I woke up and got to the track, and said what's up to Jacob, and was talking to Jacob, and then that's when he told me, we're gonna go to Outlaws. So I truly didn't know myself, but that's when I found out, and I think we'll be ready to roll.
Yeah, first and foremost, Ashton, congratulations. Obviously, you had a great year being together with the Shark Racing team. Obviously, when Jacob took a step back and became more of the crew chief role, a lot of people were wondering, how you were going to do with that equipment, and obviously you did well enough to be able to run next year full time in a national touring series. I imagine you're excited, but also probably got a lot of anticipation. I know we were kind of talking off camera. You don't really have much going on in the off season, so that kind of gives you more preparation come February when we'll see you at Volusia.
Right. It does. It doesn't. It doesn't. It gives me more time to prepare, but that's also more time. Not being in the seat and not staying up to date on the driving stuff and taking a couple of weekends off. It throws some people off, but in the off season I got a few other things. They're not quite sprint car racing. I got the monster truck stuff and like the micro stuff and the Chili Bowl. So I got a few things in the off season, but during that off season, I'm definitely going to be looking into the outlaw schedule, trying to see what tracks to go to and try and learn the tracks that they go to because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of tracks that I haven't been to yet and I haven't got to experience. So also being a rookie, driver for the Outlaws, I don't have much seat time myself in the 410 stuff, but also going to these new tracks is something I also have in factor. Running this series.
Yeah, we were joking in Charlotte when after the news broke, making sure you've got your passport up to date because you got 2 dates up here at Osh weekend. So I'll be super pumped to see you up here, man.
Heck yeah, yeah. I haven't been up to Canada to race a sprint car. I ran Canada when I ran go-karts when I was little, but that's like I said, that's another track that I'm gonna be able to experience and go to. So that'll be cool.
So quickly walk us through your past weekend at Charlotte. Obviously, it was a busy weekend. A lot of cars showed up, I believe, in the 40 car count. So, yeah, just kind of walk you through our weekend as far as getting prepared for every night. And there was good competition, a lot of great battles between David Gravel, Rico Abreu, Buddy Kofoid ended up getting the win on the last night, and just kind of the notes that you took away from Charlotte.
Well, yeah, like I said, with tracks that I haven't been to or going to for the first time. Charlotte was my first time there, so my first laps were my qualifying sessions. So qualifying fifth for each night or each qualifying session. I thought that was pretty good for never seeing the track. Lined us up great for our heat races. And like I said, with the few laps I have, I'm going straight into heat races pretty much. So I was able to, make all the mains my first time there. I had a bunch of speed, showing up there in the heat races, main, all of it. So it is a fun weekend, but it's also learning. I didn't obviously, like I said, I haven't been there, so I'm up in racing with these guys that have been there for a while or have gone there. They know what they want to do or what they're gonna do. So I'm trying to figure out setup, track, all that in the short amount of time that I got.
I don't know how much you can actually share with us. Like, is any conversations you've had with Jacob Allen? Was there kind of obviously Logan is on the World of Outlaws tour. I assume that has something to do with it. Is there any other kind of reasons why you guys chose High Limit or sorry, chose the Outlaws over High Limit, considering Jacob just ran High Limit most recently?
Well, like I was talking to Jacob, and like I said, I had no idea. So I think Jacob was kind of thinking about himself and think what he wanted to do. And unfortunately, with the passing of Bobby, that's where Bobby and the whole 1A started was Outlaws, right? And so Jacob also started his career kind of on the Outlaw series too. So I think that was kind of part of the reason, just to bring the 1A back to where it started for Bobby.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Bobby because I'm actually got my Bobby
Oh, heck yeah.
Great.
diecast here. I wanted to bring up because
That's
obviously
sweet.
because Scruffy was a big inspiration not only to me but my family and a lot of race fans around the world. Obviously, it was a big loss to not only the Allen family and the Schuhart family and the whole team, but the whole sprint car community. Just quickly talk about how the team's doing. Obviously, Jacob was very emotional about it, of course, but you guys got to stay focused and try to do your best you can to represent that 1A team and do it for Scruffy, right?
Exactly. I mean, Scruffy's probably the best guy out there. I don't think one guy's going to say something bad about him. He's always at the track. He's helping. He's having fun. Like you said, such a unfortunate passing. He's just probably the I would say the biggest sprint car legend out there. It's just unexpected, and it was terrible for all of us. But as Jacob and me go on, this is what he wanted. So we're just doing what he wanted, and we're gonna keep working together and give it what we can.
All right, so you don't have any racing for the rest of the year in 2025, just the monster truck stuff. You got any vacation plans or any fun activities planned outside of racing?
Monster trucks. That's what it is. That's my vacation. I don't got no vacation planned. So maybe if something comes up, but yeah, man, like I said, I think it's just going to be monster trucks and, prepare for the Tulsa Shootout, obviously, and prepare for Chili Bowl, kind of try and get ready for that stuff. And, after Chili Bowl, it's, a couple weeks and then it's Fallujah to start everything off. So I wouldn't say I got much downtime.
Yeah. And you mentioned Tulsa Shootout and Chili Bowl. So I wanted to ask you who you're running for, what plans you've got for that, if you're allowed to say.
Yeah, shootout. I'll be running for the B&B. Kobe Adams. He was nice enough to let me run his cars, so I'll be able to run his cars. I got to thank Kobe Adams for that, for all his support in the micro days when I ran micros. We ran his engines, and they're probably the best engine out there for sure. I mean, I would say, I won the Tulsa Shootout with it, so really great to him and him letting me run the cars. And for Chili Bowl, should be back with Keith again. Keith Coons.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to seeing you at Volusia. It's not too far from my house. I know Shaun to be looking forward to coming down here again and during speed weeks and all that. But before we let you go, we always appreciate taking time for us. I know Shaun wanted to show off something that you gifted him, and then to go ahead and plug in where you can get merchandise like this, and thank any sponsor as well. I know you got Pell's Tire Service Polo on, so kind of thank
Yeah.
who helps you.
Yeah. So when Jacob and I started doing this podcast, obviously the reasons we do it are for the women and for the free stuff. So
Heck yeah.
at least we get free stuff. You were kind enough to gift me this cool pit crew hoodie.
Yeah.
Really sweet, man. Like if anyone's been to Charlotte, they know how absolutely red, dirt, crazy, dusty it gets there. And there was no way that I was going to wear this in Charlotte. So tell us where people can get your merch. And yeah, it's pretty sweet. You got some cool stuff coming up, man.
Yeah, so we got a few things out right now on the website, onefasttee.com. You can go there and get a few things, and we'll have more obviously next year. We'll have a lot more different varieties and different options, and a little bit a little bit more variety. So next year we'll have the onefasttee.com online, and then you can come by the trailer next year, and we'll have a bunch of different stuff. Actually, a couple days after Charlotte, just got a hat order in, so we got some hats now. So you can go online, One Fast Tee, or come to the trailer, or if you go on Facebook and message Torgerson Racing, message them, and that's another way we can get it to you guys.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate all your time, man. It's our second time having you on. And you've put up with a lot of shit online since you hopped
Oh
in
yeah,
1A, and you've handled it with nothing but class, and you've put your head down and gone to work and gotten better every time you've gotten the car. And I know Jacob and I really appreciate your time and how good you've gotten in a short period of time in a 410, man. So we wish you the best. And I know Jacob's working on coming to Chili Bowl. I don't know if he's 100%.
you gotta
But
go,
he'll
gotta
be at
go.
Volusia. I'll be at Chili Bowl for sure. And I'll also be at Volusia. So we'll be seeing a lot of each other, whether you like it or not, man.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Shaun. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you to RF Knox and Pels Tires and Shark Racing. Jacob Allen and his whole crew and everyone that helps out. They got a lot of people that come to the shop just to help. I really couldn't do it without them. I got a lot of people behind me next year that I got some sponsors coming up. So I just got to thank really everyone that helps me. Obviously, my mom, my dad, my brother. Big supporters. They come to every races and help and watch out. And so I really just got to thank all them.
And I also have to mention that out of all the people that we've had on after the scales, that Ashton has the most views when we had him on the first time. So yeah, we really appreciate you taking the time to do this, and that you're the most viewed driver that we've had out of 82 episodes. So yeah, thank you.
Heck yeah, thank you guys. Hopefully we can. Hopefully next season we'll talk some more and talk a little bit better with some wins and some podiums and see what we got.
And I feel a little bit left out on this battle of the teenage mustaches between Jacob and Ashton. So maybe next time we have you on, I'll have to grow one out.
There we go. Yeah, hashtag grow it out or something. Get the mustache going. Get the curls going.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
All right, dude. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your brief off season.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
All right. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Enjoy your nice weather.
Yeah, it's nice here. Well, I think it's 85, 80, somewhere in there. Perfect.
We don't do Fahrenheit, but I know that's nice and it's warmer.
Oh, yeah, you good.
Thanks, dude.
See you guys. Thank you.
See you soon.